Is tier 3 actually worth grinding in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies? Today we're going to be going over it, whether it's actually worth grinding it or not, if you're going to get good schematics, if you're going to get good rewards, or if it's really not worth grinding at all and it's only worth playing for fun. And the reason I'm making this video is a lot of people recently have saying how good the tier 3 rewards are. However, every time I'm in a game, I'm completing contract after contract after contract in the tier 3 zone, running around trying to get looks. People are saying you can get legendary Aether tools, tier 3 Pack-a-Punch crystals, tier 2 Pack-a-Punch crystals, and I'm going to just be going over whether it's actually worth grinding. Quickly before we get into that, guys, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to channel notifications, turn on to miss any of the best Modern Warfare 3 Zombies content. If you enjoyed this video, go and check out the rest of the channel so you can find some more videos that you might like as well. If you do enjoy it, smash thumbs up and let me your thoughts on this in the comments below. Do you guys think it is worth grinding tier 3 in the comments? Let me know in the comments below. So with the recent update, as I did just mention, they have apparently buffed the loot that you do get in tier 3 for completing contracts, and also just upgrading the loot that you can find by simply just running around and looting and opening chests and things like that. And like I said, since the update, there's been a lot of times I'm in tier 3 and I'm just grinding through contracts, hoping for this good loot to come out. I'm completing bounties, outlast, deliver cargo contracts, anything that is appearing in tier 3, I'm trying to complete it in a game to see if I can actually get good loot from it. And if I'm totally honest, there is so many games that I run around and I just get some perks that I've already got equipped, or perks that I've already got schematics for. I can get some ammo mods, maybe a medium backpack, at the best a large backpack, and the loot just really isn't too crazy. Like, I'm running around completing all these contracts, and majority of the time I'm getting very standard loot that just really isn't too crazy. It's going to make no difference to my game. I've already got all the perks equipped. I've got the best gear that you can get: a durable gas mask, large backpack, 3 plate chest, and I'm just not getting anything that's going to benefit me out of the majority of these rewards. And the reason I say the majority is because every maybe 1 in 7, 1 in 8 contracts that I do complete, a legendary Aether tool might pop up in the reward rift, a tier 2 or a tier 3 Pack-a-Punch crystal might pop up in the reward rift. So it does make it worth it in that sense, because it does then mean, okay, I can now exfil with those, and then I've got them available for the next time I want to go into and make a video, whether I'm making a new class and I want to get to tier 3 Pack-a-Punch. I can go in and I can make that video nice and easy, and it also just means I get a good start to the game, whatever I'm doing. So yes, okay, in that aspect, it's great. I am actually getting legendary Aether tools, tier 3, tier 2 Pack-a-Punch crystals. However, the time that it takes to get them, you'll be lucky to get one in one game. It might take you 2 or 3 games before you even see rewards of this sort of standard, which for me is still a bit of a problem. Like, I want to go in, I want to complete like maybe 2 or 3, 4 contracts at a most, knowing if I complete at least 4 contracts, I'm almost guaranteed a legendary Aether tool, a tier 3 Pack-a-Punch crystal, or something that's going to really make it worth my time grinding these contracts. And if I'm totally honest, I keep finding better loot by simply just running around the tier 3 zone, having all my perks equipped, and then you can actually see where all the crates are, all the chests are within the buildings. I just run in, I go and loot them. I'm finding more legendary Aether tools, more tier 2, tier 3 Pack-a-Punch crystals from simply looting than I am completing contracts in the tier 3 zone, which is kind of strange. And I understand with the Dark Aether and the Elder Dark Aether, that is where you're going to get those crazy rewards. That's where you're going to be getting basically guaranteed legendary Aether tools, guaranteed tier 3 crystals. But when I'm on just chilling, solo grinding, trying to get a bit of loot together for my next video that I want to record, I don't want to have to go into those certain zones. I don't want to go and fight the harder bosses and make it a real challenge. I just easily want to run around tier 3 with some easy guns that I've got, like the Lockwood 680, for example, which just makes the game ridiculously easy in tier 3. I just want to run around with a gun like that, grind out some contracts, get some decent rewards, exfil, get myself set up for the next video that I'm trying to record. And I'm sure you guys want to do the same. And even if I wanted to get into the Dark Aether and the Elder Dark Aether, I'm going to need that good loot anyway. So I should be able to run around tier 3 and get the loot that I need to go into those harder zones. So then I can actually easily grind those contracts out and easily get myself some legendary Aether tools, some tier 3 Pack-a-Punch crystals, and all of that good stuff. So yes, okay, they have buffed the loot in tier 3, but I think it may need a slight more of a little buff for completing contracts. Almost needs to be a situation where if you complete 3 or 4 contracts, you're guaranteed a good piece of loot. Because like I said, there's been times where I've done 2, 3, maybe even 4 games of just grinding tier 3, completing contracts, and I still don't get anything that's worth grinding for. And then I might have 2 games in a row where I come out with legendary Aether tools and tier 2 Pack-a-Punch crystals in both of them. So it's very inconsistent of what you're going to get. I think they either need to make it more consistent or just slightly buff it so you're almost guaranteed it after 1 game. And I know people are going to say, Harry, but that's then going to make the game too easy. But the thing is, unless you're doing the tombstone glitch and you are glitching your stash, you can only store up to 10 items in the stash anyway. So it doesn't make it super overpowered. It's not going to give players all this loot that they can go and store and just keep putting into their stash unless they're doing the tombstone glitch. But if they're doing the tombstone glitch, they've got the best loot anyway and they're just duplicating it. So it's going to make no difference. And if you're like me and you don't want to rely on the tombstone glitch all the time, you just want to be able to get in, get some good loot, pack a punch of guns, and exfil with legendary Aether tools and some tier 2, tier 3 pack a punch crystals, they need to buff the loot in the tier 3 zone. So us players that are trying to do it legit can run in, go and get their loot, get into their next game and have all the gear that they want for that next game, whether they're going into the Dark Aether, the Elder Dark Aether, or again just going back in to grind tier 3. It's just going to make the tier 3 grind easier because they can load in with that legendary Aether tool and a tier 3 pack a punch crystal. I think it just does need a slight little buff. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you genuinely think tier 3 is worth grinding in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies or not? Because there's some games where I think, okay, that game was actually worth it. I grinded for a little bit. I come out with some decent loot, which means I can now go and record my next video with a gun. I can tier 3 pack a punch it, legendary Aether tool straight away without having to use schematics. But then I also have a bunch of games where I'm like, right, okay, let me go in, complete a whole load of contracts, do a load of looting, and I don't come up with any loot that has benefited me in any way whatsoever. I've just spent 45 minutes running around the tier 3 zone, and then I'm coming up with basically nothing that's going to help me in the long run. Whereas, like I said, I would like to go into a game, run around tier 3, get some good loot, and then in that next game, I can get myself set up. Right, I'm going to go into the Dark Aether, the Elder Dark Aether zone, whichever one it is. I'd like to be able to run around tier 3 for 45 minutes of a game and be able to be prepared to go into those harder zones so then I can almost guarantee myself those better schematics and those better rewards out of contracts and just looting in general. Because I do think a large majority of the player base for this game, I know there's people like me and some of the other content creators, and maybe even you guys watching, that are confident going into tier 3, running around, looting up, and then even going into those Dark Aether and Elder Dark Aether zones and being able to do what you need to do. But I'm sure the majority of the player base is in a situation where they don't want to go into those Dark Aether zones without the best gear possible. I'm talking the best wonder weapons, tier 3 pack a punch crystals, legendary Aether tools. And okay, I understand they can go into a game, they can go ahead and complete contracts, get enough cash to tier 3 pack a punch, but the thing is, a lot of people just want to be able to loot up within one game and then the next game go into those zones, which in my opinion is also what I wouldn't mind doing. I would like to be able to go into a game where I can just loot up and then the next game I'll go, right, okay, I know that I can go straight into that Dark Aether zone, the Elder Dark Aether, go ahead and complete those, and I know I'm going to come up with good loot. So I can loot myself up for about 40-45 minutes in the first game, and then it's going to make it way easier for me to go into the Dark Aether and the Elder Dark Aether in the next game and be able to do it basically straight away and guarantee myself some good loot, whether it's the Aether Blade case, whether it's dog bones, whether it's the golden plates, or whether it's legendary Aether tools and tier 3 pack a punch crystals, whatever it is. I almost want that first game to be a setup game, maybe even 2 games. Maybe have 2 games that are setup games, and then the next game I can basically guarantee myself to be able to go in, and I know that I'm going to have the loot I need to start those Aether zones. So is tier 3 worth grinding? Yes and no is honestly the real answer to this, because like I said, there are some games, I have 2 games in a row where I come out and I've got good loot. I've come out with legendary Aether tools, tier 2 or tier 3 pack a punch crystals, and I've spent maybe an hour, hour and a half, and I've actually got some great loot that I've come out with. But then there's also, on the other hand, I'm grinding tier 3 and I might spend 2 or 3 hours in the tier 3 zone and really come out with no loot that's benefited me whatsoever, because I've come out with perk cans, I've come out with ammo mods and just things like that that really aren't going to make too much of a difference to the game, or even just tier 1 pack a punch crystals. But even then, you can get the tier 1 pack a punch from simply completing tier 1 contracts. So why would you grind tier 3 for it when you could make it much easier in the tier 1 zone? So yeah, overall they have definitely buffed it slightly, because I'm seeing better loot come out of the rewards for tier 3 contracts, and like I said, just looting in tier 3 in general, I'm finding legendary Aether tools and things like that. So they have definitely buffed it. Is it the craziest change? No. And I definitely think it does need to be buffed a bit more, simply because of the fact, like I said, I want to know that I'm going to go in, grind contracts, and within one game, if I complete contracts all game long, I'd like to come out with a tier 3 pack a punch crystal and a legendary Aether tool that I can store to use later on down the line. Because if I'm grinding one of the hardest zones in the game, I want to be rewarded for it. I want to come out of that game feeling rewarded, feeling satisfied with what I've done and what I've achieved, and then what I've come out with. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below, so please do leave a comment. If you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to smash a thumbs up on it, as it helps me out way more than you can imagine. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on, and check out the rest of the videos on the channel as well after this video is finished. But I appreciate watching, and have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next one in a bit. Peace.